Okay, after you finish the axle holder, you will design the motor holder, which is made up of these two parts. Let's do the more complex part first, just because it's got these curves on it, which, by the way, are not dimensioned in the drawing, so I'm going to have to add those dimensions in this video. All right, let's start by creating a new Part Studio. Lower left-hand side, click on the plus sign, create Part Studio. Sketch, front plane, rotate to the front, and now I'm going to draw the overall shape of that design. Okay, so I'm going to start right here, go all the way around, kind of sticks out at the top a little bit. You might want to rename this, by the way. Right click and rename the tab Motor Holder Parts. Okay, so here we go. Line tool on. I'm at the origin. Click once. Go vertical. Click. Horizontal. Click. If you're not vertical and horizontal, don't forget you can always use your vertical and horizontal constraint to fix it. Here we go. There's my overall shape. Let's check the dimensions. I've got 1.380 by 1.250. Dimension tool. 1.380. That's how wide it is. And the height top to bottom is, I believe it was 1.250. Let's double check that. Good. All right, let's go vertical on the outside. We got 0.65, and then we'll sneak over here to horizontal 1.0. All right, vertically 0.65, horizontally 1.0. And now the outside is fully defined and fully constrained. It's all black. All right, now we're going to draw. Let's plug in real quick. Losing power. Crisis averted. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we're going to draw what's inside. And let's take a look at this hole for the motor. Two vertical lines connected by two arcs. So I'm going to draw these vertical lines and connect them with the 3-point arc tool. That's the 3-point arc right there. Here we go. Motor holder parts. I'm not in my sketch. Right click, edit. Here we go. Line tool. Make sure you don't draw it where you have dashed lines. That's just makes Onshape think you want it to be aligned right there. So if you see dashed lines, don't draw it there unless you really want it to be lined up with whatever it's lining up with. So I'm going to draw a vertical line here. So I just hit escape, by the way, to turn off my line tool. Now I'll show you an example. I'm going to use the vertical lines here because I actually want it to be lined up. So I'll click once and I'll actually let this line it up because I know these two are perfectly lined up. Now I can use the 3-point arc tool. You might have to find this with a drop down. It's not under the circle tool, it's this one right here. So you might see one of these tools, but you're looking for a 3-point arc. So you're going to have to click 3 times. Once on the left, once on the right, and then a 3rd time to define the arc. Now don't worry about the size of it, we'll put in the dimensions in a second. Again, once on the left, once on the right. And notice I'm on the wrong side of the curve, so I flip it this way and click. Okay, let's put in the dimensions for these points before we dimension the 3-point arc. So let's go to this drawing. 0.247 is from the top left corner to the top left corner of the hole. 0.247. So let's go Dimension Tool, top left to top left. Go to the middle, drag it out. If you're having trouble getting that vertical line, make sure you're zoomed in. Drag it out, and that was 0.247, 247 thousandths of an inch. And now to the bottom of the hole, 0.753. Dimension tool, top left to bottom left, drag 0.753. Now let's horizontally lock that point in, and it's 0.210 from the corner. Dimension tool, left corner, top left, point, I think it was 210. Let's double check that. That does not look good. Let's figure out what's going on. 0.210, it is correct. Okay, so the reason why it doesn't look good is because of the arc, which is not defined on this paper. So let's fix that. So the dimension of the arc right here, click on it, drag. The radius of that should be 0.395, 395 thousandths of an inch. That does not look good. So let's start over. Let's hit escape. Let's delete that. Okay. This point needs to come in. All right. This one doesn't look good, so I'm going to delete that. So let's put on the other dimensions before we go any further. So 0.580 from side to side. That's a horizontal dimension. So horizontally from this point to this point is 0.580. 0.580. Okay. Now let's try again. Let's put on the dimension of this arc as 0.395. It was already there, and that looks good. Okay, so sometimes you got to delete and start over. Don't stress out. Let's go back to the 3-point arc tool. Left, right, drag. Put on our dimension tool, and the radius of this arc is also 0.395. At this point, it's all black. It's fully defined. And we're good to go. So after you finish this one, you want to sketch out the other piece, which should be pretty easy at this point. Hit your green check mark to save, and then laser cut this part after creating the drawing file.